Hey guys, what if I told you that you don't need a college degree to work a high income job? Many people believe that you need a college degree, that without it, there's no way you're going to make enough money. Well, in this episode of the Purpose Talk, we are going to break down what careers are actually high paying, why they pay so much, and how you can choose the right one. My name is Gus. I've worked with hundreds of young professionals and career discovery, and I've also taken the steps to find a career that I love and that I'm good at. So let's break down this concept today. Thank you guys so much for joining. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're watching live, just let me know. Just write where you're watching from, and if you're watching the replay, just write hashtag replay fam. I'd love to know where you are watching from. Thank you guys so much for joining this episode of the Purpose Talk. I am super excited. Real quick, I'm going to give a shout out to everybody who joined the Know Your Strengths experience. It was a cool time. And if you're watching this video, the link is always in the description below where we take the first step to finding a purposeful career. Now, let's get right to it. Okay, guys? I don't want to keep you guys waiting. So, as far as what careers are actually high paying, I did a video previous to this where it talks about the five careers, the top careers, I'm sorry, that the top industries that you can use a college degree to find a successful career. But in today's episode, I want to touch on what careers you don't need a college degree for that actually pay well. So I'm going to tell you what the five careers are, what they pay on average. I looked this up on Google as we start the year in 2026. I was just interested to see, hey, as this new year starts, what careers are out there? So I literally Googled it. And it's actually interesting to see what careers actually pay well. So I'm going to tell you what the five are, and then I'm going to tell you what the wages are, and then we'll go more into depth on what these careers are, and then why how you can choose the right one that fits you, which is we'll break that down. So the first career on the list is actually an elevator and escalator installer. This is interesting. A lot of you may not even think about that being a career. Elevator and escalator installer. So it shows here, based on the statistics in the United States, that the starting wage for this job will be anywhere between 55,000 a year to 70,000 a year. Okay? And then by mid-career, but after you get a few years in, you get experience, you become proficient even more in your craft, you can make $100,000 to $120,000 a year without a college degree. Some of you guys are like, what? I know, right? It's crazy. So an elevator and escalator installer, I have the list written down here. I'm just gonna go down it. So you can make upwards of $100,000 to $120,000 a year. The second career or the second industry that you will find a high paying career is transportation, storage, and distribution manager. Okay. This is the wages starting off in this as a manager in transportation or storage. You will make 65,000 to 80,000 a year starting off. And by mid-career, you can be making anywhere between 95,000 to 120,000. Guys, I mean, this is substantial money and you didn't have to go to college for, right? Uh, the third on the list is power line installer and repairer. That's a very fun job, right? To some people. The entry starting wage across the United States for this is anywhere between 60,000 and 75,000, while in your mid-career, you're making anywhere between 90,000 to 115,000, okay? And I have two more. The next career line is aircraft mechanic and service technician. This and I actually know somebody that is in this industry in New York. Is really cool. So this is starting wage 55,000 to 70,000, and by your mid-career you're anywhere between 85,000 to 110,000, okay? And the last one that's on the list, you can look up online, is starting is a web developer, okay? Which that seems like a more modern one, like maybe some people may expect that one, right? Web developer, you can make 65,000 to 85,000 starting off. And by your mid-career, you can be making anywhere between 100,000 to 140,000. Now this is super that's a good amount of money, right? You may be watching this and like I'm good with the starting wage, right? For some of us, right? Uh, but yeah, so these are the top five careers, and you hear this amount of money, and it's like whoa, like maybe you're under the impression that you need a college degree, right? Maybe your parents, which some of us are, right? Your parents said you need to go to college so that you can make money, and though the intent was good, we understand that the world is changing. The ability to acquire new skills is more accessible. There's different methods, not just university, to acquire new skills. And and as the world changes, you are realizing that hey, even with these top majors, with these top career paths, you don't need a college degree to be successful. Now, you may be watching this and you're like, "Man, I'm in college and I don't know what I want to do. I'm in here without a plan." And may I tell you that to stop where you're at right now, to consider who you are, right? To consider all the options that are out there for you. I've in my experience, I I've found that to find up a purposeful career in this channel, I'll always share on this podcast, right? You need to know yourself. You need to know what your strengths are, your natural wiring. You need to know what skills you have. You need to know what your passions and what your values are, right? Uh, your strengths are what you're going to do to be successful. Your passions are where you're going to do them, and your values is how you do them, right? But whenever you consider, hey, what career can I choose? Uh, you'll have to consider these components of who you are, right? Strengths, values, and passions. Um, Now it's interesting because when you consider any career, guys, when you consider any industry, if you're watching this and you're in college or you're about to enter college or you haven't gone to college and you're considering possibly going, you've been working, what can I do? Where can I be successful? What does my future have for me? Um, it's also important to not just know yourself, but know the marketplace, right? We believe that you have to know yourself, know the marketplace, and then to actually execute your plan, where some people fail, is you have to know your plan. What's that going to look like? But when it comes to knowing the marketplace, the last few videos have been regarding that, right? What is the marketplace? The marketplace is where opportunity meets demand. The marketplace tells you, hey, this is the problems that people have and need solutions for. Okay. Business owners create solutions to problems. That's how they run a business. Uh, but if whatever career you're looking at, whether it be a college major, you need a college degree or not, you'll notice similar principles, right? And you just have to keep an eye out for these principles. Do your research online, work with a career coach. There are certain principles that you'll find in any successful, high-paying industry. Okay, guys, and I want you guys to write this down. I shared it in my last video, and the principle is still the same. Uh, High demanding jobs pay well because number one, there's scarcity. There's not a lot of people who can satisfy the demand. Uh, the job itself, the people who can actually do these jobs are not common, right? There's different skill sets that are required, different trainings that you have to go through, or certain things that you have to learn to be able to fulfill a job. And not everybody's going through these trainings, right? Um, there's also responsibility, right? There's the sense of responsibility where it's a, hey, the more you're responsible for, the more you're likely to get paid. If you look at a restaurant, when I worked at Chick-fil-A, a store manager gets paid a lot more than a cashier. Why? Because the level of responsibility is different. We would always have buy-in from our younger team members when I worked at Chick-fil-A, and I would tell them, hey, your job is to take care of the customer experience, being friendly, saying them my pleasure, right? But then also just making sure you get the order right, the accuracy, which is important, right, for the business. But then you compare it to a store manager, they have more responsibility. They have to run a multi-million dollar business. They have to consider labor. They have to consider the cost of food. They have to consider all these business metrics, right? Apart from dealing with the people, right? Working with people and problem solving in that sense. So the responsibility difference determines your pay. The more you're responsible for in an ideal world, you will get paid more. I'm not speaking about those jobs that you feel like, hey, I'm not getting paid for my accurately for what I do. That's a whole nother issue, and I would encourage you to look into the marketplace and to compare, hey, what are the wages for this role? And I can see what the responsibilities are and how you can meet that, right? So you have scarcity, you have responsibility, you have skills. If there's an industry or these career paths, you can continue to develop skills, right? To become the more scarce skills you guys have, the more things that you know how to do that others don't, and the more you know as an individual and you can stack your skills, the more you're going to get paid. The more you're going to get paid. Even in the example of a store manager, right? There's different skills that they had to develop. They've taken an order before, but they've acquired other skills. They've acquired shift running skills. They've acquired analytical skills, problem solving skills, risk management, uh, uh, so many others. They've stacked skills that made them more valuable. People will pay you for what you know. There's different levels, right? If you're in a career, people will start off paying you for what you do. Eventually, we all want to get to the point where we go up this ladder. People don't just pay you for what you do. People will pay you for not just what you can do with your hands, but people will pay you for what you know. You've had experience, you've seen things, you've learned things, you've acquired different skills, you know things, and the more you know, the more valuable you are. And there's different ways to acquire skills nowadays, right? College used to be the only way. Now with social media, with online learning, there's so many opportunities out there. But you have to learn. The more you know, the more you should get compensated. And then eventually, the highest levels, which I'm not there yet. One day, I hope to be. People will pay you for who they are. People will pay to get an insight for you. But that's at another level, right? If you're watching this, what you can do is gonna pay you, but you want to develop skills of what you know. You want to develop knowledge that'll get you to be prepared. So, skill stacking is why these industries pay as well. Any industry, whether you need a college degree or not. And so you have these components, and then also just the industry demand, right? It's the fourth reason why certain companies play well, which leads into scarcity, right? Certain industries are blowing. IT, which I know we didn't mention here. There's so many other careers I can mention, right? HVAC, being an electrician, a plumber. These are all things that are actually scarcity, and the demand is growing for them, right? And people, there's not a lot of people that can do these jobs. Thus, you pay more. Thus, you pay more, right? So when you consider looking into a career, we've listed the five careers according to Google that will actually pay that you don't need a college degree. We see why these all these industries pay well. It's because of scarcity, ability to stack skills. The industry demand is growing, and you just may have a lot of responsibility on top of you, so that you have to handle, which will lead to getting paid more, right? So uh, but you may be asking yourself, "Well, how do I know these careers are for me?" Here in the Purpose Talk, I'm a firm believer that there is a purposeful career out there for you. Your purpose is one thing, but bringing your career to your purpose, finding a career that aligns with your purpose is possible. I've experienced it. I'm currently experiencing it in different areas of my life. But your career is just one of the ways that your purpose here on earth is you're able to execute it. Let's say it that way. And I believe the way to find your purpose and find a career that aligns with that purpose is understanding your strengths, values, and passions. But but if you're watching this, taking the first step to finding a purposeful career is really starts with knowing your strengths. So I wrote down a list as I went down. As I went down, what I want to do is how you can actually be successful in this career, right? How do you know that these careers are for you? When we talk about strengths, and I want to start off with that, right? When we talk about strengths, there are three kinds of strengths, which you can watch other videos where I break it down more. There's a natural ability, just something that you're born with, a natural wiring, a way your brain processes information, or the way you think or you approach the world. And then there's skills, things that you've learned. Skills and natural abilities are similar. The difference is that you're born with one and you learn the other, okay? I have another video on the channel that you can that I'll put in the link in the description, so that you can go in and watch afterwards how to uncover your strengths and this natural ability. Or you can sign up for the Know Your Strengths experience, which this video is sponsored by it, where you can uncover your natural ability, natural wiring, and skills so that you can take the first step to finding a purposeful career. Now, I believe that we're all God wired by God for a specific purpose, and a career is something that'll align with that purpose. So, as I look into these careers, what um what natural wiring or natural abilities do people have to be typically, right, for the most part, to be successful in these careers? And I wrote down some notes here, and it's really interesting, just so you can get an idea. It'll be a little bit more practical, right? Um, there is a natural ability and a natural wiring that you have that'll lean more. So let's look at the first one: elevator and escalator installer. So, that one, the average wage starting was 55 to 70K, and it's really important as you because you consider these careers. Let me see if I can write this down. If I could pull this up here better. Okay. So the natural abilities that you may find that you need for this line of work for an elevator and escalator installer are mechanical reasoning and hands-on learning. Now, you notice with these careers, and it's important, right? When you're choosing a career path, and we'll break down different options more in the Know Your Plan as future videos come about knowing your plan. And a lot of us go go to school, go to college without knowing what our learning style is. Guys, if you're a hands-on learner and this career may be for you, that may be a good indicator, a way to start off. Why? Because the skills that you need to acquire for this job are hands-on learning, right? So if you're a person that learns hands-on, this may be something for you. You're good with mechanical reasoning. You're able to judge. You have spatial and you have the ability to use mechanical reasoning, which, believe it or not everybody has. So I would encourage you, if you have that, to look into this career. You're also comfortable. You're a type of person. Your wiring is to work independent. I will not be successful in this job. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's as a as a husband, as a father, right? As a person who wants to provide for his family, it's intriguing to say, hey, I can make 100K a year doing this. But it doesn't, I know I will be miserable. Why? Because I am an extrovert. I am not the type of person that will work good independently. So if you're a person who doesn't mind working alone, you don't have to be surrounded by 100 people like I need to be all the time, right? uh, then this may be the job for you. You're also a detail-oriented person. You're detail-oriented, and you have a strong safety awareness, right? There are people who have a natural who understand, hey, this is danger, risk assessment, naturally speaking, but it's something you can also develop. And you are a naturally calm person, patient, but you also have a fire in your belly to solve problems, right? So you see how your natural wiring and understanding these things actually will fit you to this career. You may be the type of person who who has these things, and this career may be for you. So you have to do some self-evaluation, or you have to uncover your strengths, right? This is all based on the premise that if you know your strengths, you can see, hey, this career might be for me, right? Um, this is good for people who enjoy systems and quiet. See, who enjoy systems and working alone and executing thoroughly. Okay. Let me see here. So the next career that I had lined that I had set up previously is transportation, storage, and distribution manager. Okay. Um, the natural abilities for this career that you should have in the natural wiring are strong organizational, and you're very analytical and systems oriented in the way you think, right? This is your natural wiring. If you're going to be a person, you should be a person who's analytical, who has strong natural organizational skills. This is something you can learn, but again, I believe that you should lean into your natural ability, and your natural wiring is God given, and if you have to acquire skills, that's fine. Your skills should serve your natural ability and your natural wiring. There's certain things I've had to learn that help me be that help me execute my natural ability at a higher level. So, If you have a strong, you're naturally strong organizationally, and you're very good at systems thinking. Uh, you're also a type of person, if you're in management, any type of management, you have a natural leadership and decision making. How many of you guys have ever found somebody, and this is something that it, it frustrated me to the sense that, man, it made me kind of sad, especially when I was a director and I was a leader of leaders. Uh, whenever I would find a manager that was not a natural leader. Now, some if you ever gone to McDonald's and you see there's somebody or in any industry, honestly, where the manager is not a strong leader, you can tell. It's really, it weighs not only on the business but on the customer as well. When you're a manager, you just put a name tag on there because it was nobody else. That's a whole nother issue which I'll cover in the future. I love, in this, I want to help you be who you're supposed to be and do what you're supposed to do in the future. I'll touch on more videos on leadership development, how you can grow to be the best version of yourself, but especially in your career. But there's people who are not leaders and they're put in leadership positions. John Maxwell says the lowest level of leadership is the name tag. Even another leadership expert, Matthew Kelly, right? Um, talks about the lowest level of leadership is because they follow you because they have to. There's a name tag. It affects the business negatively, and honestly, I've seen it affect the person as well. They know that they're not a leader, and they put them in management positions. Whenever you're in management and you know you're not good at something, I think unless you're completely ignorant to the fact that you're not good, you feel it deep down, and you say to yourself, "Man, I feel." Know what you feel like I'm not good at my job, and if I ask anybody in this chat or if you're watching the replay, nobody wants to suck at their job. So if you're going to be in management, you have to have natural leadership. You're going to want to be a person who naturally likes making decisions. Now, are these things you can develop? You should develop them, right? You should be develop leadership abilities, right? Is this going to make you a better person? But as a career, as a professional, you may have to realize that, hey, there's a skill development that you need to develop. There's a skill component that you need to develop when it comes to leadership and decision making. But I want you to lean into your natural ability when you're in the beginning when you're looking to find a purposeful career. If you develop it later on, sure, that's great. Um, but as we move forward, another ability that you have to have is and not actually just a wiring that you need to be comfortable with is you need to be able to manage people. You need to be able to have emotional intelligence. Whenever you work with people, you have to realize that they are people. They're just not just a number, and you have to be able to willing and able to work with them. But not only speak into them and invest in them and genuinely want what's good for them, while also wanting what's good and best for the business that you're working for or that you're working for yourself, that you've launched for yourself. Uh, but also holding them accountable. I think accountability is something, it is a skill that you develop, but I've seen people and that are really awesome and just have a natural way of holding people accountable. They tell them what they need to hear, but they'll say it in a very awesome way, in a very wholesome and impactful way, in a positive way. So definitely something you want to acquire. And then you're a person who's very observant, who can see problems before they come. So you can look ahead and say, if this happens, it'll lead to this, this, and that. So it's really important any type of manager in transportation, storage, or distribution. These industries are growing. There are other management positions, but in transportation, storage, and distribution, it's a high demand job right now, which you can look into. And if you're a manager within there, these are the natural abilities, the skills that you need to have. And I would encourage you to look into it, right? But lean into your natural wiring. The third is power line installer and repairer. So, uh, in this career path, um, you have to be aware that there is a lot of risk, right? A power line, it's not easy, right? But now, what kind of person would, if you're watching this, hey, how would you think? And I'm sure in this, I'm walking you through the process of what to consider, right? So you can know, hey, this is what develop that train of thought. I'm trying to show you, not just give you the answers, but show you, hey, this is how you would process the information, so you can have the framework to make the decision for yourself. Um, so in for power line installer and repair, you have to be aware, high risk awareness. So you have to have some sort of awareness of, hey, you're in a dangerous job. It's very dangerous. You can get electrocuted. Okay. Um, and there's also a certain physical aspect to the job, right? Um, I'm all for equal opportunity employer, but there is a natural, hey, there's this fundamental need, a certain physical demand that the job requires, and not everybody can execute. And that's realistic. That's just so the thing can get done. And not only do we need in our society people who can do that job well, right? Because our society depends on it, but also for your safety, man. I don't want you to hurt yourself. Oh, I'm willing to push through, though my physical conditions, I can't. I'm like, you're gonna hurt yourself. I don't want to see that. So high risk awareness, and you need some sort of physical. There is a certain degree of physical coordination that you may need. I think because I have really weak ankles, I don't know if I could do it. But anyway, thankfully I don't. That's not my career. Thankfully, that's not my career path. Boom. Uh, so you also have to have the ability to follow strict procedures. You're a natural systematic person. You say, hey, I'm able to follow the system step by step. You also have a natural tendency to, you should also be a person who's naturally tend to be calm during pressure. There'll be situations which in the future we'll have somebody who works in this industry to speak more on it, right? But there's other different emergencies that can happen. You have to be calm. You have to be a person who's level-headed, who doesn't go too high or too low. You stay even keel and do what you need to do, right? If you're naturally not a calm person, this may not be the career for you, and that's fine. Um, and there's also a team oriented mindset. This is job is good for disciplined individuals who are comfortable with critical physical manual work, or you're worried, you're focused on, you care about doing infrastructure type of work. Um, the fourth is aircraft mechanic and service technician. Natural abilities. You have extreme attention to detail. Okay, so it's important whenever you talk to somebody, you'll in this industry or in any of these industries, these skills, these abilities that I'm mentioning, and they'll mention it to you, right? When I've talked to people in these industries or in any industry, you'll see, hey, these are the things that you have to naturally that you have to have, and that this job requires. So in this one is extreme attention to detail. You enjoy diagnostics and troubleshooting because that's a lot of that job is that, right? Diagnostic software and stuff like that. Um, you like to do precise precision work. You have a strong internal motivation as well as what you need to have. These are people who value just a lot of responsibility. There's just details that need to come whenever you're servicing an airplane, right? Especially if you decide to go like in the military route and stuff like that. Um, there's just a few abilities that you have to have. And then and then the last career that I have here is web developer. Um, it's a different kind of thinking. You have to have a logical and analytical thinking, which that's similar actually. You enjoy problem solving puzzles. You can focus deeply for a long period of time. There's a lot of like deep mental work as you. It's 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 almost like Alex Hormozy whenever he talks about when he is working on the business and you're at a higher level thinking type of thing. You're detail oriented, but you also have an ability to think on at a higher level, at a big picture type of thing, where you can focus for blocks of time, right? Where it's not just, okay, I have to do this and that. Rather, you have sit down for 3 hours and you say, okay, I'm going to focus on what I have to do, or 8 hours, whatever that looks like for you. Um, you can focus and let your brain, because there's a flow that you need to have to be successful as a web developer, especially for a larger company, right? Um, and the reality is that in this industry, more than others, there's always something new coming up. There's new software, there's new computers, there's AI coming up. There's so many different things that are coming up that you'll have to continue to learn, right? Even in medicine, right? When we talk about careers that do need a college degree, you'll find that there's always learning. My dad was in the medical field for a long time, and he had to get some certifications every few years because he needed to keep up with new drugs that were coming out, or new like not illegal drugs, right? Like new prescription, new medication that was coming out. So he needed to be up to date because there's always something changing and evolving, and a web developer is no different. So and I know I probably said a lot right now, but I want to show you guys, hey, there is certain careers that, number one, in these careers, I probably wouldn't be successful in any of them, right? But you may be, and you may have the natural wiring to 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 be successful in these careers, and these careers may be something that you actually like the task, or you may be serving a group of people or a problem you like the actual task that you have to do, or the problems that you're solving, right? Which is a cause, which whenever you're finding your passion, you're passionate about a task, a cause, or a group of people. So, or even if your path for a career, you may be the type of person who's not looking for a purposeful career, but you're looking for a job that leans into your natural ability and wiring, and you just say, hey, like this is gonna finance my passion. That's an opportunity for you as well. I believe that you can find a career that aligns with your strengths, that you can use at your passions while delivering on your values. Um, and it is important for us to be able to understand that we're going to keep learning. You have to develop skills. You don't have to go to college to be successful. I would encourage you that if you're watching this and you don't uh uh if you're watching this and you don't know what you want to do, don't just go to college just to go to college. I I I've seen a lot of people, and I was one of those people that initially wasted thousands of dollars, right? In student loans, right? This college is so expensive nowadays, that you can't afford to just go just to go and then figure it out. No, have a plan. If even if you don't go to college at 18 years old, right? I know some of our parents may feel like you have to. I would say you don't. Don't, especially if you have to go into debt. Like especially if you have to go, because that's gonna set you back, right? There's certain financial decisions that I made that set me back many years, right? Student loans being one of them financially. So you'll have to consider what your strengths are, know yourself, know what you're passionate about. Can you serve? Is there something that you care about that's in the marketplace that there is a demand for, that aligns with what your overall life purpose is? Look in the marketplace, and then once you do that, then you know your plan. Here we've done several videos on knowing yourself already. You can look into this in the link, or you can work with me as a career coach. We could start with knowing your strengths. Then we have to know the marketplace. There's so many careers out there, right, that don't need a college degree. In the other video we touched on what you do need, that do need a college degree. But whatever path you take, find alignment first, and then you'll be able to execute your plan. As we come up with future videos, we're going to be talking about knowing your plan, what what it looks like, what are the things you need to know to execute your plan to to end up in the career that you're meant for, right? Um, these are just a few mentions of career, so that that you don't need a college degree for, but there's many more out there. Like I said, there's plumbers, there's electricians, those are high demand skills. There's in IT, the industry is booming right now where you can uh, uh, even people get worried about AI, and I'll always say this. I saw this online and I 100% agreed with it. I think it was Tony Robbins that mentioned you are not going to lose your career. You're not going to get replaced by somebody who knows AI. A lot of people are like, no, 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 man, AI is going to take all the jobs. And it's like, hey, guys, people said the same thing. I wasn't alive for that. I'm not that old, but there are people in the past who said the internet's going to replace jobs. That's what people when I talk to older people, that's what was said in the past. And it wasn't the case, right? Whenever you AI included now, you're not going to get replaced by somebody who back then knew the internet by the internet, or you're not going to get replaced now by somebody who you're not going to get replaced by AI. You are going to get replaced by somebody who knows how to use that tool. So whatever industry you're in, I've had mentors of mine professionally who tell me, "Hey, you need to learn AI." And you're in the finance space, learn AI. What tools can you use to help customers, or what risks exist out there, right? If you're a business owner, you'll have to know how to use AI. Start off with a personal productivity and then how you can implement it in your business. Whether you have a brick and mortar business or you have a a virtual business, an online business, right? You'll have to develop skills to do that. So the industry's changing, but even in IT is growing. Become an what is this called? A just work with AI and AI engineer, right? There's different career paths that you can. If you learn how to use AI, you'll be a person who has a higher value, right? It may not be the tedious task that you have to do, but learn, develop, grow. I would encourage you to do so. So yeah, guys, I mean, as far as if you're watching this, these careers earn well. Uh, they earn really well. You may be tempted to go and find a career, choose one of these careers just because they pay well. What I would encourage you to do is to figure out if you're who you are is aligned with what you need to be successful in this career, and if it aligns with your passions and your values, right? Um, now as we wrap up, you don't need a degree to earn well, but you do need self-awareness, and you are going to continue to learn whether you go to college or not. You have to determine where you're going to learn. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment to let me know which career stood out to you the most. If you feel like you will be successful in one, the Know Your Strengths experience is in the link in the description below. Uh, Join me as we'll work together in via will it's a it's a coaching experience where we work together to uncover where your strengths are. Take the first step to finding your purposeful career. So this to know your strengths experience. And yeah, if you guys need anything, let me know. And you can go ahead and watch this video that YouTube is recommending for you, okay? Thank you so much.